Hi there, welcome to this new video, and in this video we will see time series forecasting in Tableau. So far you have seen that we have done the time series forecasting within the Python, where we have written a lot of code, looked at a lot of different videos. I think so far I have posted 4 or 5 videos around that, but I will show you how easy it is to do the time series forecasting within Tableau, because Tableau has this flexibility where you don't have to write any code. You just drag and drop the columns on the white screen or on the rows and columns, do some configuration, and you have the charts, you have the for the achievement of the forecasting the future values. All right, so let's go ahead and let me minimize this, and I will start from scratch, so you will see that it is completely end-to-end. And the data set I'm using is the daily total female birth in California. So this is a daily data. So if I double click on this, it's in CSV, and you can request the data so that you can also experiment with it. Now over here we have this from 1st of Jan 1959 to, if we go down up until the last value, this is 12/31/9, that means 12 December 19 and 50. So these are all the values that you have, and then we are getting some null values over here. So what we can do is we can even remove that. So for that we need to add filters, and we will click on this, and let's add date. So we will remove everything where date is null. So over here I will say days, next, and I will click on exclude null. Okay, so days of date exclude null. If I click OK, yeah, so if I go down there shouldn't be any null values. All right, so we are here 12 December 1959, and this is 50 days. So sometimes you get issues like this, and you need to remove it by adding a filter. So as and when the situation is coming, you need to remove it. Similarly, you can even get the nulls over here, and there are various techniques, like you want to put in, let's say, 0, or the null is over here. You want to put the previous value, you want to put the last value, or you want to create a altogether separate model for putting the value. So there are different techniques. I'll not go there because that's altogether different topic about how to fill the missing values. That's like a separate stream itself. So once it is there, what I'll do is click on sheet 1, and the first thing what we can do is we can have the date, and we can have the value over here. And if I go on to the show me and click on the line chart, so right now the line is not coming, and if you would guess it, it's because we are right now on a year mode. So over here we have year. So what we can do is we can little bit expand. Now we are on the quarter, so Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4 values are coming, but we have the daily data, so we can further expand to the month data. So now you can see that we just gave the daily data, that means data that we recorded on a daily basis, but the Tableau engine inherently doing all of this calculation, or created all of this calculation for us, so that we can see this data based on the dimension that we have in mind, whether it is year, whether it is month, week, day. So right now we are in month. If I want to expand, I can expand even the week, and if I expand to daily, I can even expand it to a daily data. So this is a very easy way by which I can just go ahead and do the visualization based on the need that I have. I can aggregate it on a previous or the higher date values, or I can be on the lowest date value, which is a particular date. So right now we have this entire daily data, and that shows us this data is pretty much standard or a stationary, with a little bit of very less trend, and some of the seasonality or a cyclical variation is definitely there. So we will see how we can basically use all of this information for the creation of model. Alright, so the first thing is, like I have done previously as well, is creation of moving averages just to smooth the data. And to do that, what I can do is I can hold down the control key. So I have just hold down the control key on my Windows, this system that I have, laptop. Hold down the control key and double click and dragging the, or simply dragging, no need to double click. I just have the habit of doing a double click and then dragging it, but double click will put you into the edit mode if you have not pressed the control button. So you need to be a little bit onto a practice if you are doing that, but simply hold down the control key and drag it on the right and you have the two series over here. Now one series is having the actual values, but the second series is something where we can have the quick table calculation where we have the moving averages. So right now if I put on hover over any data point, I can see what is the day of date, what is the daily total female birth in California, what is the actual value, and what is the moving average. So moving average of daily total birth is 49. So it's basically taking the previous 2 to next 0. So it's basically taking previous 2. So it's a 2 days moving average data. And if you see that even sometimes moving average model is people are using, because sometimes even they give you the good output in terms of forecast. So it really depends that how long you want to go back. Like in this case it has gone 2 days back, but what if I want to go 5 days or 10 days back? So how I can do that? So to do that, I have the option over here. If I come and click over this pill and click on the edit table calculation, so right now it's a moving calculation, average previous 2 days. So if I expand this, I have the previous 2 values, but let's say I want to go back to previous 10 days. And as I change the value over here, you can see the change over here as well. You can also specify the next value, that means the future values that you want to consider, but for now I'll just go ahead with the previous 10 values. And if you have been into the stock market and all, you have seen that there people uses the moving averages a lot. There are a lot of favorite moving averages like 12 days or 12 weeks or 12 months, 20 days, 20 weeks or 20 months. So you can have that moving average over here as well. So for example, if I just say 20, this is how the moving average becomes and you get the good output. So this is the way you need to come into the table calculation. And just to show you again, you need to come over here, click on the edit table calculation. In the second drop down, you have the option of changing it. So on a particular day, let's say for example over here, 30th June 1959, if I just clicked it over here, you can see that point over here is also highlighted, and over here the moving average value is 39 or close to 40, whereas the actual value is 59. So there is a fluctuation point. So it has smoothed it based on the previous 20 value, current and previous 20 value, and you get the 39.9, which is close to 40, just to smooth the series. So this way you can create the moving averages over here. Now the next point is creating a forecast. So what I'll do is I will just create a duplicate sheet over here and I will just remove this. And to add a forecast, first of all, what we can do is, or I can show you, is adding a trend line. If I just drag the trend line over here, and I have a couple of options. If you see, I have a linear trend line, logarithmic, exponential, or polynomial and power. So right now the option that we have is the linear, and it shows that little bit of a trend that is present. As I said in the at the start of the video, that there is some trend which is present, not a very high or not a very spiked trend, but some trend is present. So if I press Ctrl Z or undo, this will be removed. Similarly, we have exponential, but again it is similar to linear, so you can see that not much of a trend that is present. And then we have a polynomial, which basically follows the shape. So if you see, it was a bit of a trend up until here, then it is again going down. Shows us that very negligible trend. So we have tested in 3 different ways and concluded that there is a less evidence of any trend that is present. Now let's go ahead and click on the forecast and put the forecast over here. And this is basically the next forecasted value from 1st of Jan to 9th of Jan. actual values is highlighted in dark blue, and the estimated or the forecast value are here in the light blue. So I can hide this because this is something I just explained. And it's a simple straight line indicating that 44 is our point estimate for the next 9 days, right? And you have then the option to further fine tune it. So for example, if you are not satisfied with this and want to further drill down into the forecast and want to experiment with it, because experimentation is what you all need, so you can go into the analysis, and in analysis you have the forecast and you have the option of forecasting option. So right now you are showing, it is automatically showing you for next 10 days, but you have the option where you can see that you can even see it for exactly 1 year, quarter, month, week. So 1 week, right, or 1 month or 1 quarter. So depends on what I want. I can just go ahead and do that. And aggregate by automatic days, this is fine, and fill in the missing values with 0 in case if you have the null values. And then the forecast model is automatic. That means based on its best judgment, the Tableau judgment, it is producing the forecast. But it may happen that you say that, okay, I'm not interested in this, but I want to tune or specify my own model. So you have a couple of options like automatic with seasonality, right, and custom. So custom is the option where you can specify what is a trend and season, and it has some parameters like additive and multiplicative. So I'll just tell you in a nutshell, though it is a good topic of a good 15, 20 or 30 minutes read about what is additive model, what is multiplicative model. But in a nutshell, additive models are the one where if you don't see any trend, you can just go ahead and use the additive model. But if you see a good trend, then use the multiplicative. That's the rule of the thumb. But I highly encourage you that you go ahead and read about it. So if I click on additive, you will see that with the trend component, it shows, if you remember, the polynomial line showed that the trend is going down at the end, and that's what it has shown, that it is going down. But if I put the seasonal factor also into the consideration like additive, then you will see that this series is making a little bit more sense now. You can even experiment with the multiplicative, not an issue, but you have to specify over here also as multiplicative. So based on that, you can experiment with all of these features that is present to you, and that will help you create a good time series. So you can see that you just need to know about the right parameters, the right values that you need to configure within the Tableau, and you can create a simple and explainable time series forecasting model for yourself within just a couple of minutes. If you see right now, it is just 13.5 minutes that we have passed, and we have something workable that we have in hand. We can further fine tune it based on our needs, but that's how easy it is within the Tableau to create a time series model, for which we take lots of time. But as you know, we have not seen that ARIMA PDQ parameters, how to identify PDQ or tuning of the parameter. That's like a very advanced stuff already covered within the Python. But you can even integrate the R and Python into the Tableau and even take this model to a next level. So that's why I said initial model creation is very easy. You can tune the parameters, which we just did, like additive model or a multiplicative model, and go ahead and show it to your user about this is our initial model, or this is like our baseline model, where it is giving you the output that below this we should not accept any other model. So that's about it. That I had a very quick 14 or 15 minutes project for you, where I wanted to show you how you can tune the values using the parameter, using the moving average. You have other options like rank, percentile, or percent different and all, which is required in case you need to further dig down into that data. And then we looked at the trend line and the forecast to understand whether there is any trend is present or not. If not, then we use the additive model to create the forecast. So thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please go ahead and like it and comment about it. Let me know what do you think, and